My sword is sharp, my shield unbound, my pride will waver not. I face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. If I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. But war is cruel, my comrades die, and I go on alone. I will not stop to ask them why. I know I can't go home. I face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. If I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. My back is broke, my armor's rent, my blood is on the field. My sword is gone, my body spent, I lie upon my shield. I faced my foe, they laid me low, but I go with a smile. The labyrinth, it calls to me. I'll wander it a while. The labyrinth, it calls to me. I'll wander it.
Ooh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the one I need. It's a good start. Good start. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the thing. I went to the wrong scene. I did well.
It happened.
So yeah, classic error straight off the bat. Let me know what the audio's gonna be like. I'm probably a bit loud and stuff. Sounds all good. That all sounds good. Excellent.
Yeah, how do we sound? Are we good? Are we too loud? Are we too quiet?
Wearing
good.
TTC
Yeah.
crafting merch.
You need to talk.
The duck.
Ah, right, okay.
TTC is he makes lots of weapons. He's a player for Arisen.
Risen.
Wonderful stuff. Cool. So we're back. We're doing another one. There's no 100% audio. Well done. Cheers, Ben. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Hooray!
We did it.
We're getting there. No trot tonight, I'm afraid. Sorry, but we do have the wonderful Abi and Pete, and we have got the most amazing beard on screen.
Oh, morning. Yeah.
Thanks,
Wow.
Abby. Thank you, Abby. So I thought I'd do a little bit of an update of where we are and things that we're doing. So I've done my filming now, which was amazing fun, and that should be coming. But we should be seeing all of that in October, hopefully, which will be wunderbar. We've got on Monday coming the RPG clinic lot coming on. Well, two of them coming on. I think the third one, Scott, I think he was a bit put out watching their stream the other night because he knew nothing about it, and that. So yeah, it should be an interesting chat. But yeah, that one's going to be what it is. Raffle, right? A friend, well, someone we know, making some leather armor. It's fantastic stuff, and it looks like he's going to be selling it fairly cheaply. So, I am considering, with some of the money from the raffle, buying a set to then put out there and see what we can do with. Depends how nice it is, anyway. Uh, yeah, but we'll have to just wait and see what that one's going to be like. His stuff is quite nice, so yeah.
Yeah, book tickets.
Buy the tickets.
Definitely buy the tickets. They will massively help. I mean, if we get to a certain level, then I'm probably going to buy a bell tent, and then we can get that one out for a new player to just go and there you go. You've got something to sleep IC with. I'd rather sleep under a tree because that's so much more comfortable. If I had nothing else, I'd sleep under a tree. My stuff for this raffle, many shinies, please buy. Definitely, please buy. Oh, right, where was I? I'm a bit, I can't think of the word. I can't think at the moment. I'm really off it. It's my birthday on Thursday, and I actually received a card for my first card today, but I'm not allowed to open it. It says don't open it yet, so it's kind of thrown me off a bit. But I'm on that. It's in a good way, in a very good way. Oh, it's George's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, George. How old are you? How old are you going to be? Is this your, I think you're 16, aren't you, tomorrow? I think he's 16 tomorrow. I think he'll have to confirm that one. So yeah, so that's happy birthday for tomorrow. Yeah, so that's fantastic. We're doing a thing tonight as well. If people sub during the stream, then you're 15 tomorrow. Okay, excellent stuff. Well, happy birthday for tomorrow, mate. I hope you have a good one. So if you sub during the stream, we'll let Abi and Pete pick someone out from that if we have anyone, and they'll get a free entry into the raffle. Just one spot. I'm not that nice. So, but yeah, loads of stuff. The raffle's going really well. We're like 300 quid at the moment. It's fantastic. It's going amazingly well. So thank you everyone who's donated prizes, and thank you everyone who's involved, and thank you everyone who's bought tickets and stuff. So go buy tickets and stuff. As you can see, I am a professional streamer. I stick it together nicely. I know how to speak words. I am a word.
I can do the English.
I can English me good. It is great. So, I hope everyone's doing all right. We'll word gooby do that thing. Cheers. Word do be good for you, Steve. Cheers, Dan. No, we're not macking it.
You've got to do it now.
Boss, if I mac it up, it's going to go to pass because it's going to sound even worse. Ah, yes, the speaker of words. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. So, how are you two doing anyway? Are you all right? Are you having fun?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
Yeah?
Good day. Relaxed. On a holiday, finally.
Good.
Chill day, bit of painting, bit of chilling, bit of eating, you know? Good day.
Yeah, it's literally George has just pointed out about sleeping under a tree, and I'm literally under a tree on my green screen. You can't see it.
So if you're not off, then we know why.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we can't see it.
No, I
So
see it.
imaginary tree for us.
Yeah, I've got a tree here. Something here. See if I.
Oh.
Oh, that's too suggestive by far. There are children present. Sorry, Pete. So we're going to have a little chat. We're going to see what goes on. We'll get people involved, hopefully, and we can just chill
Want to have a
chat
little
about.
chat.
We'll have a little chat about Empire.
Have a little chat.
Have a
Yeah,
little
for
chat,
sure.
and we can see what goes on and stuff like that. We need a tree badge. No, we don't need a tree badge. Why do we need a tree badge? We got badges of me doing a thumbs up. That's amazing. That's the greatest badge. So, Pete, you're going off to the Brass Coast.
I am, yes, on holiday. No, yeah, so I'll be first character joining the Brass Coast. As it's the complete, almost opposite to what I do with medieval reenactment. So I thought it'd be a nice one to have a sort of a mental split as well. So in my head, the differences between the two.
So what was it that drew you to the Brass Coasters?
Tambourine. No, I had a chat with my reenactment group because we're coming over as a household into Larp. We're all going to give it a go for the first time. So we thought Brass Coast seemed to be that was quite fun, quite relaxed, quite freeborn, and very very different to our usual 15th century European medieval military mindedness. So I thought, give something different a try. We'll make it as different as possible. So we looked into that, and that's where we're going.
And shiny things.
Shiny things.
Shiny things.
Also, wearing some of the costume, putting the harem pants on. Don't want to take them off. They're so comfortable. It's amazing.
Yeah. I had a pair of hero pants where the crotch is like down to your ankle. It's wonderful. So in all fairness, the next step from that is a kilt. So the kilt which I wear, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, especially when you get to like walk up to people and like you put your foot on the bench next to them and you pull it up a little bit. You show off your knee, like hello.
Stand down.
Hello there.
It's like
General Kenobi.
how you doing? never. I can't say that I don't do that in when I'm in the field, but I do a lot to everyone. So, oh dear. Sorry, but we digress. So we have a brass coaster, and and I don't think have we got anyone from the Brass Coast in chat at the moment? No knobbly knees, please. I don't think we do have any of the unless Rachel's in chat. So I don't think she is. So I don't think we have anyone from the Brass Coast here, but we do have a lot of experience here that I can see. So Penguin Pen. So Brass Coast and Abby, you're going off into the Navarre.
I am indeed.
So what was it that drew you to the Navarre, of all places?
Well, I like to do costuming and cosplay and things. So the first thing generally was the colorings and the costumes. I really enjoyed how the look of it, the war paint, the fetishes. Is it called the fetishes?
Yes.
You know, the little things off a belt. I love all the belts and all the leather armor, the colors. So that really drew me initially, and then reading into like the song of stories and stuff. Amazing. So like, the more I read into it and stuff, the more I get more into the Nirvana. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. Especially the trees.
Yeah, the
so cool.
camping in the woods is absolutely amazing. I do love it. I mean, even when it's been raining heavily, I think everyone who's been up into the woods when it's all, regardless of weather, everyone will say how great it is up there because they have all the lights in the trees. They have the huge fire pit and stuff like that. So it is all fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So, question time, Pete. I think you were actually prepared and prepared a question.
A couple of questions actually. I've sort of asked most of my guys to come across with me. Myself, a few questions. Any questions you guys want to ask? So one I've got is heresy. Like I understand there is heresy, and you can get tried for heresy. Listening to Grim on the last stream, talking about his brush with that. How does it all work? I mean, Also, I guess there's no gods, or you can't say there are.
No, there's
I
not.
mean, how does this the heresy mechanism plane
Yeah,
work?
Matt's just commenting on heresy. I got this. This is definitely his sort of thing. From my experience of heresy is when you're going against, where you're like the false virtues. So like my experience would be, let Foul teach us all. Yeah, because he is going to. I'm only gonna be able to say from my experience on this, and that will be leading a skirmish to the love cult, where we turned
I
up
heard
in
about
we, yeah we turned up into like a little clearing in the woods, and they're all there with tambourines, and they're like swaying and singing and being generally delightful. It was wonderful, and we walked in, and then they all turned up. They turned around and looked at us, and they're like hi, and they were hugging us all. So I had turned up with an axe and a mace, and I was in full plate, and they were hugging me and saying how wonderful it was that we were there. Then we let the Navarre guides have a chat with them, and basically they went into the details of the way and what it is, and they argued their point and stuff like that. And then they just turned around and said, yeah, you can execute them all. They were all unarmed as well. We took great delight in murdering all of these innocent people. Well, they're innocent, they were heretics. But yeah, we took a lot of delight in that. So, Matt has said, there are no gods. The way is a proven religion of fact, not faith. Humans know the virtues are ideals that lead you to your next life through the labyrinth. Okay. He will. Don just said, "Wow, I have got so many stories from my time at Empire, my things that I have done at Empire, where I get that as a reaction from people. It's like you did what? It's great. I think that's one of the things that I love about Empire and LARPing is that you mainly at Empire is that you get to do these sorts of things. So things that you wouldn't normally do. So it's like I'm in a battle here. There's someone lying there in front of me. Normally you'd go, I'll just leave them there. I'll walk away. I haven't seen this. Or you batter them to death a little bit more and make their death a bit quicker, which is my personal favourite. So F is for friends who kill together.
F is for friends who kill together. I'm pretty sure it was the SpongeBob tune they were going for.
Probably. Oh, Ben. Oh no, it's Dawn. Maybe someone needs to interview Hefty Yeti for his top 10 WoW stories. No, that is heresy, unfortunately. Maybe a good question to ask is examples of heresy, so you can understand what they might be. Saying orcs reincarnate, saying humans have one life worshipping any god, eternal paragon or exemplar. Yeah, there are other examples. So with what Chris did, he went around saying that that he was a god. That's heresy, but he was only doing it in a this is what I've seen and this is what I know we can do sort of way. So I've seen us heal people just like the drop of a hat. I have seen someone smack a stick into the ground and send an entire line running. How is that not godly? So it's definitely an interesting one. That was going to be a great one. It's a shame we need. I'll have to get Ginny back on and just say right, heresy, go. I'll go make a cup of tea.
Into the heresy game. How do I do that?
It's all a Hunger Games meme. Top 10 potato stories. You can't really stumble upon heresy as it has to be an entrenched belief to be convicted. You won't be executed for misunderstanding religion. That's what happened to Chris. It was a misunderstanding for him. So he was let off with a little bit of a telling off. I mean, they've tried to inquisit me, in Mac, lots, but that's mainly for drugs. But there's then they come back and there's like, are drugs virtuous? It's like, well, how are they not virtuous? It's like, we'll get back to you on that one. So yeah, it's nothing really that they can do in there. So worshipping an eternal herald as a god or subsuming your own soul is popular as heresy. It's not godly as in the Empire we have no rhyme or reference for what a god is. Religion's one of the areas I still need to read up on. It's surprisingly hard to get executed for heresy. I remember the first event I was ever at, there was the whole Yale thing going on. That was cool as fuck, but really the last big religion thing I've heard of. You know, I was worried I'd get in trouble with heresy, but it seems you have to be pretty bad to get pulled in and interrogated. It's probably religion's probably the least I know about. Getting pulled in and interrogated or inquisited is great fun. It happened as my first character that they wanted to execute, but after his inquisition, they decided that they couldn't execute him for heresy, and that was where the whole "no, just don't come back from a battle" thing was. So in the Inquisition side of it is fantastic roleplay if you want to get into that, because they are literally going to sit you down. There'll be a couple of people there, and they will quiz you. They will question you on everything, on absolutely everything. You're most likely to be convicted of religious crimes if you're a priest, as they are supposed to know better. Generally, the laity, the non-priest, won't be pulled up on religious crimes, as it's better to teach them the correct way. Yeah. So, if in doubt, act dumb.
No.
That's good answers.
That's probably that's probably the best way to put it. To be honest, that's how I've made a career at the moment. So yeah, so that's a great question. How about you, Abby? Have you got anything?
Oh gosh.
Did you do any homework?
I didn't do much. I think something that really interested me is not really. I guess it's part of the game, but it's not. I guess the food and the in-character food and the out-character food. I wanted to know if like orcs and things, do they in character do they eat like proper like ripping meat and stuff, or do they chill and just eat
In character
in
table manners?
character table manners, or not?
So you basically, are the orcs barbarians?
I just mean like in general, like any
The whole
of the
food
nations,
situation.
the whole food situation.
You mean in character and out character?
Yeah, like
Right, okay, I'm with
it's
you.
really interesting to me.
Do not feed the orcs. A big sign.
Big sign. Have it in.
So good thing to know is that if someone wants to inquisit you, they have to do it properly. I'm just going to go back through these. Smo says no, orcs starve. Fowl says one form of heresy could be wearing real-world religious symbols. Oh, I've got the hiccups now. I shouldn't have drunk that water. As they should be avoided OC at all costs. And he says, "No, I've never eaten anything." Dawn says, "I nearly got inquisited, but they couldn't pin anything to me because I wasn't part of the coven who cast the spell." Maggoty bread for 3 stinking days. Never feed an orc before midnight. But on a serious question, though, Matt, Smo, how do you do that with the orcs? Do you all sit down and eat IC together? It's something I've never actually thought of myself. Or do you all? I'll eat most. Things. It's true. Hey everyone, hope you're all safe and well. Hi Nexus. Hope you're doing alright. Hope you're enjoying Portsmouth.
Pompey.
Yeah, my hometown. So yeah, so that'd be good to know about the orcs. How do you all do that all together? Do you all do it together, or do you all fend for yourselves, or do you all go back into your tents, take the masks off, eat? How do you do it? I don't think I've ever seen any of the orcs OC by the caterers either. It's an interesting one. Well, we'll see if they reply to it.
This is really interesting because like eating in characters could be quite funny.
I eat in character. I do a thing called midnight sausages, which is exactly what it sounds like. I will
Sausages at midnight.
yeah. I will get a loaf of bread and a bag of sausages. Put my frying pan on the fire, and then I'll pour all of the sausages into the frying pan at midnight. I'll cook them all through, and then when people walk past, as they inevitably do, and go, "Oh, they smell good," it's like, "Oh, do you want one?" And they're like, "Can I have one?" It's like, "Yes, you can have a sausage," and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great. Is midnight sausages connected to proposing to people? Well, it is now, Ben. Don't give me ideas. Orcs communally. I'm just going to give up on trying. Orcs communally eat in general, but in Anvil, a lot of us will eat in our tents with masks off. Eating in Anvil isn't really a thing. Cool. I didn't know that.
Really expanding your question, but then would be the in-character eating areas.
Yeah.
I guess you stay in character in those areas.
Yeah.
And if you want to be yourself, then you have to go
Out of character.
OC areas to eat,
Yes.
or in your tent.
Or in your
Yeah,
tent.
or in your tent. I do know that there are some groups of people that when they're sitting down to eat, and someone's walking up, they will literally say, "Can you come back in half an hour? We're eating." And that because it normally if you see someone sitting down to eat, you give them a bit of space and you just walk away from them and leave them there. So that's normally the way of it there. I love to eat icy. I will always go to like these sorts of places. I'll walk around. I had a chat with a friend of mine, Adam, whose mum came to an event. I was having breakfast with Adam, and his mum came in and sat down with us, and then he got called off. I spent half hour having breakfast with his mum, and it was the most one of the most fun things ever. It was so good. Every time we walk past each other, we stop each other, have a little chat, and you just sort of like, Adam's mum in character is very like clean cut, nice, really lovely lady, and there she is with Mac, and it's just sort of like the massive polar opposites right there, and it's like we don't understand this, and it's like, but she's one of those, always gives off the mum vibe. You're just everyone's sort of like drawn to her. She's awesome. So so any food, this is from Matt. Any food I do eat is finger food, as I can post it through my mouth hole. The worst food I ate icy was at Lumi's. She makes iceberg hot chocolates with giant marshmallows. I was eating with some dainty leaguers, and they were very shocked when I picked up the giant marshmallow, bent my head up, and dropped it in a hole.
It's a mental image of that.
It's awesome. My mask is trimmed as such, as is from Smo. It's trimmed as such that it is pretty easy for me to eat and drink, although a bamboo straw can be useful for orcs. Mozzarella sticks and chips. I'll try and bring my medieval camp and do some of my icy foods. Beige, my favourite food group.
Any food that's long and thin.
Beige.
Speaking of long and thin, that's where the sausages come into it.
With orcs midnight.
Is it? I'm just back to the whole gesturing the tree game. Oh, I'll have to change my backdrop now. It's I've ruined it.
You ruined it now.
Eating icy is the worst as an orc. Pete is doing authentic food. Ask him about Charlie the Spice Merchant.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that was in my group. So we reenact when we cook authentic 15th century anyway. So I'm quite used to public like sticking their faces in when you're trying to make
What are you
food.
making? Can I take a picture?
But I thought we'll carry that over into the Larp. So
Yeah.
looking more at North African inspired dishes. One of our group members who's good, so I normally kept in the medieval side of things. It's my household. Well, one of our members is going to be our Demiro, our head of house, if you like, for Brasco's. His character is going to be a spice merchant. So he's actually looking at proper spice mixes from the Middle East. And we're going to look at trying to do some simple tagines like recipes using his spices.
Oh, that's cool. So what sort of food are you looking at cooking then?
But mostly at the moment we're looking at doing, because one of our group decided to take the really strange practice of not eating meat. So our food's got to kind of fit both So we're looking at a few like big clay pots full of things like potatoes, any other root vegetables we can find, spices, probably some sort of lentils in it, and stuck in the fire just to be heated up.
Okay.
To start off with, and then dosas, which are like a Indian type flatbread, which has like a Bombay potato type food with it. The things that are actually quite easy to do because normally at medieval cooking, you'll be there for a few hours prepping everything from scratch, making it all. And I don't want to really miss too much of the rest of the game, so I don't want to have to spend 3 or 4 hours in camp making dinner.
No. So
yeah, anything I can do, we just
prep.
throw it in a jug and just stick it in the fire for half an hour.
Yeah.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Hot potatoes, precious. We'll be here all evening for this one.
Yeah, last year I did smoke a ham over a fire for 2 days. So, yeah, Empire Master Chef will do that.
That'd be quite fun actually, having like a chef off in
So
fast
if I can get like the chefs out on top of the table, that'd be quite.
That'd be amazing.
Turnip stew.
Turnip stew. Get out, James.
Turnips.
Turnip. So like a bit of turnip. Oh God. Yeah. Me and Sam Wheatley, we are planning a MasterChef video between Sparrow and Mac. I'm not really going to go into too many details of it, but we're going to be sitting down and planning that, and that's going to be quite fun to do. That's going to be a laugh anyway.
That sounds really funny.
Actually, Helen has cooked IC, but that was like a stew and a curry, I believe. I'll have to ask her if she's listening. Potato.
I'm just imagining like a Mac and Grim in-field themed MasterChef.
That'd be so funny.
So it's fucking hot to cook IC. Yes, it is. The funny thing there is that Hurst Hall have a stove. We have a 7-meter bell tent, and we have a stove. So this bell tent can hold 15 people in it easily. Wow. We've got a massive table that can sit 8. It's huge. We put the stove on for the first time when it was cold and melted the floor of part of the tent. We did well. It's great. We would try to cook IC, but we want a tent left. It would go so badly, but that would be quite fun to do. I'll mention it to him.
Yeah, we have a separate kitchen awning to do that kind of thing.
We'd need a separate field, mate. We'd have to be kept so far away from the room.
Burn down the forest.
Pretty much.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I'll mention it. I'll mention it to Chris and see what he feels. See if he fancies getting involved and doing something like that as well, because that could be quite funny.
Full-on audience watching.
Well, you'd have. It's like I don't know how many people in chat watch Hat Films and have seen their pancake videos, because that is literally how I would picture it to be. So, but I digress. We're going way off topic now. Now Hat Films have been brought up. So I learned about how to white metal cast mulled wine once. Pewter has a lower melting temperature than I expected. Oh dear, mate.
I seem to have lost my spoon.
There are some amazing and talented people out in that field. It is disgusting how talented they are. So like with like Armchair Armories, if someone can do the ad thing for me, that would be amazing. So Matt is incredibly talented with all the stuff, medals and that he makes. So my hall has actually commissioned Matt to make us. We're going to get the ad up 3 times now. There we go, perfect. So
we got it the other day. It's so nice.
We've got
it's really good.
We've got Matt making us some cloak things and the chain and stuff like that. So we're going to get some of those. Yeah. So we're looking at doing that, which is going to be great fun. But there are so many, like when it comes to making the food, the alcohol, the drinks, it's incredible the stuff they do. So I'll actively encourage everyone to do it. So So let's move on. So Pete, have you got another question? Have you got another question for chat?
I do. I have another one. So for myself, looking for my first character going into a military game to help support the family's sort of main goals. One of the questions come up was with the skirmishes, other than the role play aspect, is there anything else that can come out of those?
Yeah. Military game. That's my cup of tea. Love skirmishes. Skirmishes, you get the skirmishes are there for reasons. That's the great thing about skirmishes. They will be plot related, egregore related, nation related, religion related, politics related, other battle related. So I've known of them to throw skirmishes together when a battle has gone so badly that PD went, we think people are going to be upset because they've lost 75 people in that nation in one battle. Let's throw them an easy skirmish and let them go and kick the shit out of some orcs. And they did. And they went off and they did it all. And it was really good fun for them. So that was just a skirmish quickly thrown together. You get skirmishes for like artifacts. You get non-com skirmishes as well. So there are a couple of non-com skirmishes that I've been aware of. I've been on 2 non-com skirmishes, and that's literally where a diplomat is going to go and meet a diplomat, and you'll get the 2 lines, or you'll get the Empire side of people who will literally be stood there watching the orc side of it. So the 2 delegates are chatting, but the small groups of people are sort of like squaring off to each other away, just in case. They're all stood there, hands on weapons and stuff like that. There's a just in case it all does kick off. That was fine. That one went off without hitch. The other one that I went on, it was 2 people. It was a 2 people skirmish, and they grabbed me because I was just coming back from a skirmish, and they said, "You're armored up. You're ready to go. Can you come with me now? I need your help." Okay, we went off, and their diplomat, I think it might have been the Jotun, I can't remember, but the diplomat and the diplomat were having a chat, and they had 2 orcs with them, and they were stood there, and basically they just said, if they don't agree, we're probably going to kill your diplomat. And they were like, oh, I was like, okay, I don't care, I don't know them anyway. So they sort of thought I wasn't interested in a fight. I was really interested in a fight, but I could see they were more interested in my diplomat than me. So they sort of went and moving closer to the diplomat as I went and stood behind them. And as soon as my diplomat went, no, we're not going to do that, I killed both of the orcs and the diplomat, and then robbed them, and then walked off the field. And I left my diplomat on the field on his own. It was great. I came out of that fight with like 6 thrones. I did really well. I got into so much trouble for that fight, for doing that as well. It was awesome. A lot of roleplay. But you get things like mystical weapons that you can go off and find. Places you need to secure something because it will help another battle. So there's a lot of roleplay, but it's all down to like pieces of plot that are going on and stuff like that. So I've been aware of the odd skirmish where they've asked one person to stay behind as well as like a make weight, and then it's a 50-50 whether or not the that person is back for the next one. So it was like the last skirmish, and then PD let them know if their character survived.
Yeah.
And that was it, and it was brutal. It's so yeah, you get stuff like that happen as well. So there's loads of stuff for skirmishes. A lot of people ransacking necropolis has happened, stealing previous empresses' cool loot. Yeah, you get to do some pretty horrific stuff too, like the murdering of an unarmed cult, for example. I've negotiated the release of prisoners in the. Well, I thought it was the greatest way imaginable. I think still is PD's shortest ever skirmish. It lasted 4 minutes.
Wow.
They told us you've got half an hour, and we walked in, we saw the prisoners, and I turned around to like the 20 odd Navarre with me, and I went, yeah, the prisoners are away, let's get them, and we just killed them all. Got the prisoners, took the money back, and walked away.
Nice.
I do a lot of let's just kill them all, please. In my game, there are a lot of skilled
Aggressive
negotiators out in that field. So pretty much the rest of the field. Let's go with that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. But you do whatever you want to do in that situation. Basically, Mac is a murderer. Have you only just got that far, Dan?
If you have any questions, please take them up with the head of my act.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Um, interesting skirmish locations. Sewers in Holberg. Negotiations before battle swamps of Calavesa. Search and rescue after battles go wrong. People are left behind and search and rescue. Great. There was a great one which was in Spiral, which is Urizen, and it's a really horrible place to go. Those skirmishes are amazing. They basically, it was at night. They had a smoke machines going, and you could hear people hissing in the darkness. You couldn't see them, and you had the refs coming up behind you because, of course, you can't acknowledge them, and they're whispering horrible things in your ear and stuff like that, and you are reacting to it, and it's great. I have had members of my own unit turn and try to kill other members of my own unit, and you have to put them down and get rid of them. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. We came out of that one with traumatic magical traumatic wound cards, where after an hour, open the card, and then it basically just says, try to kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then you have to be exercised and stuff like that. So I've been in the tavern when all of a sudden someone's just drawn their sword and has attacked everybody. It was amazing because people go to the tavern unarmed as well. I think they put down like 9 people before they left. Wow. I was hidden around the corner. I was drinking. I was not disturbing myself for that. It was, but yeah, you get loads of stuff like that. Sorry?
They get tried for murder if they do that, if they're under influence, though.
Nope. No. They didn't know they were under the effect.
Wow.
It was great. So that's all.
The Imperious.
Yeah. So it's you basically you get and you do whatever you need to do in a certain situation. So that's what the great thing about the roleplay is. If your character would react to it in an absolutely psychopathic way, then that's how you react to it. If your character is going to react to it in a, well, I might be able to make some money out of this situation, then you'll do it that way. Or your character might just go, well, what's going to be the best for the Empire here? And you go for it that way. So, Drew said, is that what Cambions have resistance to? I have no idea, I'm afraid. Jazz, I don't know too much about Cambions. So if we've got any Cambions in who would know that, can answer that one. And when I get to Anvil, I'm going to play a real paranoid character and carry my weapon everywhere. I think that's about 75% of the field, George. Especially the Navarre. All of them are armed. The Orcs, they are all armed. So, it's so you get a lot of stuff like that. So, but yeah, so whatever you want to throw yourself into, Pete, when it comes to skirmishes, it's completely down to you. But all I will say is that it always affects something else in game. So if you do something in that battle that's in the skirmish that is for plot related, chances are you will come back into the field and then an hour or two later something has come about because of it.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, it's why I don't tend to get asked to go and head up do anything diplomatic anymore, because it ends bad. I've nearly opened another front. Just because of things. That's what Chris touched on in the Mac and Grim chat, where as a Wintermark he was in a Navarre fight, and there was a issue between Wintermark and I think this was the Jotun, and we basically nearly annulled an entire treaty there. He said he basically talked it around so that we wouldn't have a fight, and then as one stepped away and it looked like he was raising his axe, I jobbed him. And it caused a massive fight, and we killed them all, and that had repercussions back in the field, and I got into a lot of trouble for that. But yeah, it's those sorts of things. So it's really, really good, and I'll actively encourage everyone to throw themselves face first into any plot that they can come across, because it's great fun. It really, really is great fun.
No, so I was wondering off the back of that military question, as you mentioned, other things lead on to it. How, if you're doing the military side of things, is there like almost a continuous stream of skirmishes and battles throughout the day, or is it like they'll do a battle and like a skirmish type thing?
Everyone gets one battle, one big battle, and then you have to go and monster a battle. So it's essentially you get two big battles as a person, but you'll actually play your character for one, and you'll play a monster for the other one. They're great. They're all great fun, and I love them all. The skirmishes are assigned to nations, so you might find that one event you get League, High Guard, Marches. They've got a lot more skirmishes, and you'll see Brass Coast have only got 3. But the next event you'll see Brass Coast have got 8, and the Navarre haven't got any, or they've got 1. So it's all done like that, but you get them going pretty much every half an hour for
So
2.5 days.
could be a full day if you're
Yes.
in the right place.
When they did the 4-day events, me and my friend Kit, we did 18 fights in one event because you were allowed to go and get involved in other stuff. They've changed a lot of the rules around it all now, but we did a lot, and there was 2 main battles that you fought as well each. So you had a lot of stuff, and it was insane, and we were dying at the end of it. We were exhausted, and I think I've got a photo of me somewhere without my top on, and I had bruises covered all across from here, all around my arms here from all the armour. It's up my forearms as well, because of all the armour, and you're getting hit. So the weapons are fake, but if you're being hit repeatedly in the same location, you're going to get marked. So be prepared for that sort of stuff. I mean, as you probably know.
Yeah.
So you get involved in as much as you want to get involved in, to be honest, man. And it's great fun. I can safely say I'm definitely looking forward to coming and finding UIC. Because I feel like we're going to get on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely, yeah. So I look forward to it.
If you want to break a peace treaty, I've got a bone with one we currently have.
That's going to be one for the field. So I could be a cocky, swaggering Bravo and have no danger of death. No, if you get into the field and you're being killed by someone, or is Empire versus Orcs? Well, I think I've missed an entire thing here. Hi, all loving. That's all. Hi, all loving the sound of that. Do 2 nations ever come to blows? Yes, it has happened. Or is it always Empire race versus Orc? Always Empire versus Orcs in the battles and skirmishes. I have fought against Navarre rebels, but that was early on. So I can be a cook. Versus barbarian. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to be a cocky, swaggering Bravo, then that's fine. You might just get people coming up to you, I see, but that's your argument, I see, and that's great. When you're in a fight, you may find that if the people around you aren't a fan, that if you're on the floor bleeding out, they might not help you. It happens more often than not, I think. So there's always a danger of death. Nations have had beef, just never all-out war with each other since unification. You can get murdered by players. Yeah, that does happen. I think the marches, I've seen them march up into the Navarre to give their... I can't think what the song's called. It's like the shame thing from Game of Thrones.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that happened, and they basically were giving someone grief, and it was so funny. It was absolutely hilarious. I went running to it to try to provoke them to sing it at me because I was enjoying it so much. But that sort of got moved on out when it kicked off someone's anxiety in the biggest way imaginable, and that person just stood in front of them crying, and it was not pleasant to see. So they had to go. It's like look, fuck off. No,
Yeah.
so that sort of thing does happen. I've seen nations gear up for a fight and then start to march towards the other nation, and then senators of certain people have gone on and sort of stopped it. That's been good fun to see as well. Rough music, that's the one. So yeah, you get lots of stuff like that. So you do get beef, and it's quite funny to watch. I do enjoy it, but I like throwing a rock in the stew. Essentially, it's good fun to do. Good fun, but yeah, not to blows. For it to get to blows, something really bad would have had to happen. Like the Navarre and every other nation. Yeah, I think I've marched on High Guard on my own as my old character, but they managed to coerce me to a pub. So hopefully League, Brass Coast and Navarre stay friends, else I can't be friends with Abi and Pete anymore. So Jazz is off to the League then. Excellent stuff. I have friends in the League as well. So yeah, League I like. They're good nation. So Lord Douglas, you're going to be, if you're a Bravo, then yeah, I want to be fancy.
Fancy.
I want to be fancy. I know there's a fun jokey song making fun of High Guard in the Brass Coast. I think there's a group in the Brass Coast. I think they sing that sort of stuff about everyone. It's great. So, but I've talked for too long. So, Abby, have you got another question?
Well, something I was thinking about. A lot of my friends are joining, but they all want to go in different nations.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if it will affect our gameplay if we're all running around with each other but all different nations, or do they have to kind of like be the same nation as myself? So I wasn't sure if that would affect anything.
When you're in the field, if your background, you know that person, then you know that person. You are friends with that person if you want to be. So you can all you can all know each other. You can all meet up, have a drink together. You can all sit down and have a drink together.
Yeah.
But the issue becomes when they announce the battles. So if League, High Guard, Marches, Dawn, and Wintermark are going off to fight together, then the League won't be able to fight with the Navarre.
Yeah,
So
that's something I wondered as well, because they were like, we want to go to battle together, and I'm like, oh, but if you're in a different nation, it might not happen.
No, it might not. That might not happen. So, for
Yeah.
example, so me and you, Navarre and Wintermark, we will never fight in a battle together.
Okay.
You will always encounter me as an orc, because the Navarre and Wintermark are the biggest nations.
I see.
So unless they are going to turn around and say the Navarre and Wintermark and Urizen are going to fight together and everyone else is against them, which probably won't. I can't see that happening. So it's just going to be one of these. You can't have a player group with different nations in it. You'll have different goals in each nations, but you can be mates with and have ties with other nations. If you want to play with your mate, all event, it is advised you all to be in the same nation. Yeah. So like as they were described, Pete and his drunken rebels, they will be their group in the Brass Coast, and then Jazz and the group that she is with and her friend and people she meets in the League will be another group, and Abby, whoever you join in the Navarre, you will be another group, and you will soon find that your groups will say we need to do this and this and this. So you will find that naturally you'll have your own interests. So when someone comes and says, I'm going off to do this, do you want to come? You'll go, or probably can't. I'm going off to a skirmish in Liathaven at the moment. I need to go and have a little scrap with some trees and stuff like that. Yeah, so you'll get to go off and fight the Valorn, or it'll be Pete going off to go and watch their ship sink again. So stuff like that. So it's you get the loads of stuff like that. It's really really good. But there is a mercenary banner which is stupidly expensive. Well, it's very very expensive, and you you can declare for another nation at the beginning of the event. So if you wanted to fight with the Brass Coast, you could go up to their general and go, "This is for you. I want to fight for the Brass Coast," and then they'll take that, and then you are able to then go through the portal with the Brass Coast.
But even if you're a different nation.
Yes, because that's what the mercenary banner does. Yeah.
Okay.
So you get stuff like that, and you get to go off and you get to do those sorts of things, and it's good. But within the Navarre, you get to go off and fight the Valorn, which are great. Love fighting the Valorn.
I'm excited.
So I'm trying to persuade Wintermark to let me be in charge of all Valorn fighting.
Well, they like the zombie plant thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Zombie.
Yeah, that is essentially what they are. They're really unique in everything that they do. So I've done a skirmish where apparently I think it was some Star Trek plot, and these people there, we fought them, we killed them. These were and they had this big green growth on the side of their neck that we couldn't remove, and it turned out it was the Valorn controlling them, but we didn't know how. I haven't seen anything come of that actually. So, yeah. But yeah, you get lots of stuff like that, and they've got actual fizz reps for like 20-foot trees as well.
Wow.
So, and I only know that because I've lent on one when it wasn't moving. It was quite dark, and I actually lent on the guy, and I didn't realise. So, because he was stood, so you had the tree and him, and they were like that. And he was just like right next to it. So I thought I was actually leaning on the tree, and I leant on him. And he, literally like a strike down immediately. The ref took great joy in that one. So it was great. So yeah, you get that's the sort of thing of the groups. You will find that you will genuinely drift apart to do your own things. But when you see each other, that you have your catch up, a drink and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. Do Abi and Pete have any OC logistics questions? I think Pete, you're pretty much.
Yes, I did
completely
a
clued up on that.
reenactment for more years than I care to remember. So we'll probably be turning up in a large van with everything in the back because it'll be camping icy. And so as long as I can dump off the camp and then go park the van somewhere, imagine that wouldn't be much different to reenactment side of things.
No, you've got gate crew. Now you'll get on. You go to your site, unload, and then get your van off quite quickly. It's good.
How far is the car park away from the actual campsite?
For Navarre, 20 feet. It's the top of Navarre. It's literally got toilets, and then you can park on the other side. It's all the way along the top, and in a field over there, or behind Wintermark. So for Brass,
staying off site.
We're staying off site. Yeah.
Oh,
so
OC camping or
no OC hotel. It was very cheap. There was a sale on.
Which one was that?
Is it
Travelers?
Premier Inn? I think.
Premier. Right, because there's a B&B literally a 2-minute drive away. And
they're very expensive though.
Oh, it was 30 quid a night. Used to be.
Yeah, no, I think it was like £300 for the whole weekend if you stay there. Is it the golf course one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
There was it was expensive, so we were like, oh no.
I will find it because me and Josh, we used to come up on the Wednesday, stay there the Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And it really, really nice. And so it means that we could go have a drink in the pub in Silverstone town itself, and that is a really nice pub there. So yeah, we used to just go and chill, and it was really good. So
it's more the first event we don't have everything. Unlike Pete, who has like the whole beds and the blankets and everything, we have nothing. So we're like, okay, let's go for the first time, see how it is, and then next time get a OC camp thing going on.
Yeah, it's you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I mean, the only downside would be leaving site late and not being able
Yeah.
to see everything going on. I mean, even if there's OC camping there as well,
Yeah.
so just getting the simple stuff and just camping OC will probably make everything a lot easier and cheaper. But
I had all the horror stories about the mud, and I was like, oh gosh, what if I just sink in the mud?
no, I think that's only been
Under
like
bar,
I was like, just disappear, like the scene in Neverending Story, just sinking in the mud.
That's still too soon.
I think Abby needs to leave after that comment. That was way too soon. Sorry, I just need to put my F in chat there. There's a nice car park up the top behind Navarre. You can do hard tax. No. there's lots of stuff like that, but the mud isn't. It's a big thing that people talk about, but it isn't the worst thing in the world. That's for sure. It really isn't. It is. It's a lot of fun, and you don't like. I mean, the worst thing that I've ever experienced from the mud was where I've been stood up at the top of the hill by the Navarre, and I'm having a conversation, and when the conversation's finished, we've slid like 20 feet down the hill, and it's like, yeah, this probably wasn't great, but yeah, things like that, the mud and the wind. But once you're back in your tent, you're fine. Yeah, so yeah, as Alfie said, yeah, Storm Kate and Year 1 E1 are the worst. So I was at both of those events. Yeah, they were horrible. But if you've dressed sensibly, and you're sensible about what you have, then you'll be fine. So yeah, socks, boots. I mean, my new pair of boots that I bought for filming on Saturday, they're broken already.
Oh.
So the problem is that I bought them in February, and wanting them for the first event, and they're broken. And they've now, so this is the first I've worn. So they are definitely out of their guarantee. So I need new boots again. So never mind.
Custom made, which last me 10 years. Haven't resold 2 years ago, but they've been through a few scraps.
Yeah, I need to get something decent. So yeah, just spare socks, a cloak. Make sure you can get a fire that you can get to, and stuff like that. So I mean, so Pete's all set up on site. So he's gonna have a big camp essentially.
Yeah.
Well, a decent sized one anyway. So you're gonna have your yeah. So you'll have all of that sort of stuff. So what about you, Abby? Then what have you got set up for IC?
IC, I'm just on my Todd at the moment.
You're on your Todd.
On my Todd. Yeah. So my character. I have like an idea, but I don't know if it'll pan out because I'm not sure if I'll be executed for it. So, but I was gonna.
We like curiosity in this.
We like curiosity.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a theme in this chat.
Yeah. But I was obviously gonna hang out at their camp, for the first event. But I was hoping to meet more Navari when I'm there, and I've been like in some of the Discords and stuff talking to people. So hopefully I will make some friends.
Oh,
if
yeah,
not,
you
I'll
will.
be hanging out at the Brass Coast camp.
The 2 feet is a wonderful camp in the Navarre.
Yeah, I think.
You've got the main area here with a huge fire pit in it. Then you've got the Nabar, which is here. And
Nabar?
then the Nabar. Yep.
That's amazing.
You've got the Nabar, which is an amazing place. And then you have next to it the 2 feet. They have massive awnings that they attach to the trees. And they then put their fire underneath it. They've got some poles set up around as well. It is, for use of a better word, totes amazeballs. It's absolutely incredible.
Funny.
It's fantastic. It's a really, really great place. And the good thing about that place is that there are a lot of people there who are they stay there and they will talk to everyone. They are so welcoming and they accept everyone. So they accept all the waifs and strays, and people turn along, and then they will sit down and say, "I want to do this, this, and this." Then you will find that the 2 feet are then encouraging you to go and talk to specific people, and they get you involved. And if there are other groups like that, so we've had the 2 feet when it started was me, Justin, Kit, Rob. It's about 7 of us. There's like 20 of them now.
Oh wow.
It's grown. It is really, really good. And
Yeah.
some of it has just been people turning up and going, "Can I sit down?" We go, "Yep."
Mhm.
And then the next thing is, if you want to join us, next time bring some firewood, a chair, and some alcohol. That's it. That's all we ask for. And help set up and take down. That's it. It's really great.
It sounds really nice. I've seen some pictures of like I think some stories where there's like fairy lights.
Oh, there's fairy lights around that circle, but there's actual proper lights put up around,
Oh
all
wow,
around the
okay.
Navarre.
So you can actually see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would have said slapdash. Yeah, definitely, it's a definite slapdash area, but it's a great place. So I mean, obviously, because I, I will be meeting everybody, whether or not they want me there or not. I am going to turn up and say hello to everybody. So I'll introduce you to the 2 feet because they're a good fallback, and it is a definite safe space because I don't think anyone would want to mess with the amount of doormen that they've got in that group. So, and I mean, and Justin's 6'7", so he's just like, yeah, the guy's a mountain.
That's very
But,
tall
yeah, gentle
compared
giant.
to me.
He is huge. Yeah, Abby, Alfie has asked, "Are you in the Brass Coast?" No, Navarre. So, yeah. So, Pete, back to you, mate. Have you got a
Yeah.
question? I'm going to try to shut up, I think.
Indeed. I had it's probably going to have a huge answer or a massively open-ended answer. Was
Cool.
obviously there's the main Winds of War storyline, plot line, narrative, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
How do you get into the other bits that aren't the main overarching sort of plot, if you like? All the other offshoots and things that are going on.
The side quests.
Side quests. A lot of them you can make. You'll see. Yeah, that's what I do. Eavesdropping everyone. Mac is an information broker, so he knows a lot of stuff that's going on. So if you want to get involved, yeah, if you want to get involved with a herald, say, then you go and speak to an archmage. You go and speak to people who do that sort of magic, and then you say, "Can I send this herald, or can I send this eternal a message?" And then you can write a letter out. You can send it off to them, and then you may get a herald coming up to you, going, "You wrote this letter, saying questionable things about my mother. I think we need to have a conversation," and that will happen. Or you can, or a herald is going around, and you can hear the herald saying, "My master wants to get 200 of these herbs together, and we'll do this for that person," and stuff. And then as that herald's walking away, you run over and you grab the herald and say, "If I do this for you, how do I find it? Find you? How do I get it to you?" and stuff like that. And then you can do it yourself, or you can go up to the people involved who they've gone looking for and say, "How do I do this?" and stuff. So, or a lot of stuff is announced in like the big meetings at the beginning as well. So I also think if you dig your nose in hard enough to where you're interested and think there should be some plot, sometimes it magically appears. Hark the herald larpers sing. Oh, yeah, I quite like that one. So yeah, so I mean it's all dependent on the sort of plot that you want to look for. Every now and again they'll do a skirmish where there is nothing there, but you'll hear them say, "We need to go off, and we're going to get. There's potentially potential of finding this here," and you go, "Ooh, I want to get involved in that. You go and have a chat with the person leading that skirmish and say, can I come along? And then when you do the thing, you try to make sure that you find the thing, or you are near it when whatever bit of plot is talked about, and then you start talking to the other people involved because your name starts to get mentioned. That's the big thing. That's the crux of it right there. If your name is being mentioned by people, then think people will start coming to look for you, and they will generally feed you bits of plot as well. So, or you can do well, no, I can't really say what I do when it comes to plot because everyone will start doing it and it becomes a bit wrong. So, I've watched all the...
Into what you want to do with your character, then
Yeah, it would.
secret
Definitely
squirrel
in
stuff.
my secret Nims Nom Squirrel.
Oh, what, information brokerish type?
Kind of, but I'm not the person with the information. I'm like the deliverer of many notes hidden in a brownie thing.
Yeah, that's...
I have this whole concept, but I have no idea if it will work.
I
Black
have...
market messaging.
Black market messaging.
That's a great idea. I have got a few people around me who I will go to and just say, can you take this person this? And just tell them that. But you can sell it to them if you want. And then you go running over and go, this herald's going to be coming in to the field at this sort of time. And they'll go, oh, okay, where'd you get that from? And you go, I can't tell you. And then you leave and stuff. I do that a fair bit. Or if I don't like the person, I just straight out lie to their face.
I had this whole concept of having like, I don't know, I am brownies or cakes or something, and I was gonna call it Nims Noms, and have that disguise the messaging thing. So I'm actually delivering brownies, but actually there's a hidden note inside this brownie that someone has given me to deliver to this person.
That's a good idea. Never give me that brownie because that message will not survive. That will be eaten.
Give me 15 hours.
Eat the brownie. Like, oh, yeah. And I was thinking of getting like a stamp with like the little rune of secrecy on it. Was it called Dirus or something? Dirus? The little rune?
Let's go with yes.
Yes, and you put stamp out in the brownie. I don't know. I have this idea, but I'm gonna tweak it a bit, see if it works.
That's a good idea.
I was gonna have like a post box at their camp and at a different camp, but it'll be hidden, and then people can put the notes in there.
We can't be in my camp now.
No, not now.
No.
We will see.
Dirus, the Shattered Lantern. Admiral Baz, I've watched all the Tabletop Weekly Larp videos. Are you the Mac from the stories? Yes. Yes, I am, mate. He is the Mac. Yeah. So, unfortunately, all of that stuff, so like Hume's puking down my back and that, yeah. It all happened. It all happened. And a lot more. Doris and Ali. Yeah, so a drop-off point in a few nations, have a chat with certain camps, that'd be good. But that's a good idea. A few people have tried to do it, but they did it with food. So there was no messages. It was just we are essentially Deliveroo in the field, and they made a fortune. They made an absolute fortune.
See, this is it. That, but with secret messages.
Yeah.
Plus that.
See, I'm not gonna say what I'm doing. I see, because I know there is a little bit of competition for what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay, sneaky.
And unfortunately, the other person who is doing it, I don't want to kill her. But if she keeps on going the way she is, she's like Mac's third favorite person in the field. But I will kill her. She'll be gone, and it'll be really, really bad. And Mac will be really upset. It'll be the scene. I'm sorry as I'm killing you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that will happen. But yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, I get people going around to do the information. Brokering stuff, and they go around and they say, I've got this information, how much are you going to sell it? Do you want to buy it off of me? And it's like, how much is it worth? and then they generally tell you, they'd say, well, you talk the red and the yeah, well, tell me the information and I'll tell you how much it's worth. And then they tell me the information. It's like, cheers, thanks.
Fine.
Yeah, and it's like, how much are you going to give me for it? I'm going to let you walk out
My
of here
time.
alive. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, but a lot of the time, there are people who do things when it comes to information, but they want to be the focal point of it all. They want to be able to say, I've got this information, everyone should believe me, but you haven't done that yet. I gave away all of my information for free to start off with, to specific people in the right places, because I knew that they would then come back to me for other information, and you start to use that connection, and then you get into specific places. So when it comes to doing that, but you get a lot of people in the field who'll go, I know this person, I know people don't like this person, so I'm going to start spreading lies about them and stuff like that. It takes, I think you could ask like 3 people in a specific group around these sorts of things, and then go, yeah, you just made this whole thing up, you're lying, I'm going to come and beat the crap out of you now. I will actively encourage you when you do this to be very aggressive with it as well. Be highly aggressive, because people like that. They're more inclined to give you things. And that, so yeah, people are very. I've never seen it done. People try to do it the other way of like actually try to be nice to them, because yeah, it's all just weird. Someone went into the middle of the Wintermark thing and said someone's trying to kill someone. I was like, okay. Oh, they're my friend. Okay, I'm gonna find out about that. And it was like 10 minutes later. No, you're lying. You made the whole thing up to cause some trouble.
Ooh.
And then that person have spent the whole event avoiding me. So, so I walked up to them in the middle of their camp while they had all of their friends and family around them, with just a knife, threatened them to their face, and then walked away. And people were like, yeah, we're not starting. And stuff like that. But I've spent 6-7 years building up that reputation of being a nut bar. So it's going to be, yeah, so you want to do that sort of thing, throw yourself face first into it, be aggressive about it, and then go off and do it. It's going to be, you'll enjoy it. You really, really will. Yeah, just...
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We will see. We will see.
And it probably leads into question. So Raven and Lord Douglas in chat there, and a few other friends, about 7 or 8 of us who were coming for our first time, and probably you and your friends too. Quite a few of them don't know what they want to do. They don't have any idea. They don't know what sort of character they want to build.
Yeah.
They just want to go to see what it's like.
Yeah.
How easy would it be for any of them to find something to slot themselves into? If they just expect them to go and go, I'll just look at stuff and see what looks good.
I want to be
Do
an
they
NPC.
have to physically insert themselves into areas of the game to experience it, or does it kind of happen in the open around you all the time?
Really, really easy. Everyone is really friendly. Everyone wants to talk about what they're doing in the game. So you want to get involved with trading. Find someone who is a trader. Just say, hi, I'm interested in this. Can you tell me what you do, or show me what you do? And then they will go off and they will do it all. So it's just doing anything like that. See someone doing something that you're interested. There's also the apprenticeship skill, which means that if you want to do ritual magic, frankly, current players can't resist new players. You don't have to do anything. You can just wander into anywhere. You're like hardcore drugs to us. Yeah. You'll be able to walk up to a coven and say, I'm interested in doing ritual magic. Can I help you? Can I get involved in this? That coven can then go, yes, come with us. We are about to do a huge ritual here that will potentially make everything in this territory infertile. And they will then be able to get, and you can go, okay, and then they'll have a chat with the ref, and the ref says, right, so with the apprenticeships, you can then get involved, take part of the ritual. You don't add anything to it or take anything away with the numbers, but you have taken part, you've got involved, you are seeing what it's like, and then you just do it, and you throw yourself into it face first. You do whatever you want to do. You get involved in, you see whatever you want to see. So if you want to see the military side of the game, find a general, an adjutant. Can I watch what you do? Can I see what you do? And they'll go, yeah. And then more often than not, they'll say, can you help me do this now? I need you to go and find this person and give them a message. Take this brownie and stuff like that. And things like that. So Matt said you don't have to spend any XP at all at your first event. Honestly, just looking and watching what's going on. Go to Senate, watch Military Council, take the Magician skill for 2 XP and watch Conclave. Spend your first event just drinking it in and watching. Take your time with it. Don't expect to be centre stage immediately. Exactly. Yeah, the first event you often don't get much done anyway. A lot of it is learning how it all works from watching and taking in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Exactly. You get to do and see whatever you want to see. So you want
Be a sponge.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, there are so many people who are involved in so many different parts of the game. We've been waiting so long. Fuck COVID so much. Yeah, I think everybody is with you on that one.
E3 was going to be our first event. So
Yeah.
It's just been
Was it E3 or E4?
E3 would have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's by doing that you make contacts who can set you up for following events to do what you want to do. Visit all the nations. The other thing as well, E1, I know I'm just going to be in awe. Yeah, be prepared for that as well. Just turning up and going, holy shit, this is huge. I mean, Pete probably not as much. I mean, some reenactments are huge.
I think our biggest is Tewkesbury, which can be up to about 2,000 on the field.
Yeah.
Plus the 3 or 4 campsites to get with it.
Yeah. So I mean, you get a lot of
to be that size all the time.
Yeah. So it's that sort of size. Well, it's bigger. Oh yeah, Tukes is 4,000.
Okay. 4,000.
And 4,000. So. So yeah, it's a big size. So you'll probably find it a nice, simple transition. Be open to learning. It's hard to say exactly what to do to get involved. Stuff will happen around you. So yeah, so you just get to sit down. You can see everything going on. Get any question. You see someone doing something and they've got a question about it, then just go over and say, hi, what's this? And then more often than not, they'll tell you. The egregores, they're great people.
Yes,
go and find as well. They're all NPCs. That is essentially their job. So if you want to go up to an egregore and say, I want to see the ritual game, the magic game, the military game, something like that, they'll say, there's the general over there, go and have a chat. The general will probably go, I'm a bit busy, come and find me in half hour, I will be here. Or my adjutant's there, have a chat with them, or something like that. So there is loads of stuff like that to do.
The egregores are got it right there, like the spiritual embodiment of the nation.
Yeah, the spiritual embodiment of the nation.
1 or 2, isn't there? Of each one.
Wintermark has 3. Navarre have 2. Urizen has 1. The Orcs have 1, I believe. They might have 2 now.
If we kill the highborn ones, and I don't have an egregore, does that mean we can get rid of?
I have seen egregores die. I have saved egregores from other nations. That roleplay is incredible. So I think that's going to be more up your street, Pete. If you are in a fight, because the egregores come in and fight as well. Some of them do. Okay. And I have seen them. My favourite was the Urizen egregore while I was in the Navarre. She got separated, and the Urizen went down, and that. So she was on her own, like 50 feet away, and you could see orcs sort of like running towards her. And I got to. The great thing about Empire is that you can be the biggest goddamn hero in the world in that field, and you feel epic. If you come out of a battle and go, I've done this, this, and this, it's all about your individual stories of, I have done this, and it's fantastic. So being able to say, like, so for the Zuras and Egregore, she was down and screaming for help because she was bleeding out, and there was a load of orcs running towards her. I got to sprint towards her as she was looking at me screaming for help. I jumped over her as she was lying on the floor and charged the orcs as some load of people behind me went and picked her up and ran off. I had a field day fighting some orcs, and then I got to turn and run away as like another 10 came to join them. I'm not that good. I sprinted away and then had a load of Dawns step in and form a line that I got to run through, and they just sort of like held it all up. I then had the Urizen Egregore. Urizen don't hug people. She hugged me. She hugged me and said thank you. And I was just like, that was amazing. I felt so good. And then I had a couple of people from Urizen come up to me and say, thank you for saving our Egregore. I was like, it's fine. It's not a problem. But you feel epic for doing it. So you get loads of things like that. Or you get to say, oh, someone was down behind enemy lines. I charged through that line and picked them all, and picked that person up and dragged them back through. It's awesome. But the Egregores they inspire that sort of roleplay. And it is fucking amazing to get involved with them and watch them go down. I mean, my favourite ever moment with an Egregore was the old Navarre Egregore, and it was when the spirit had left his body, so he was just normal Joe Bloggs again. And I went drinking with him, and he was a twat, and everyone hated him, but I loved him. And I got on so well with him, and we just sat there in the tavern insulting people, and it was amazing. I had so much fun. And then the spirit came back to him, because obviously he's got a radio in, and it's literally like, yeah, they've won the skirmish, your spirit's come back. And he's just he was having the drink, and he just stopped, put the drink down, and then his whole demeanour changed, and I was just like, oh, you're boring again. Oh. And that was it. And I got up and left. And that was it.
There's the off button.
Yeah.
Is there if a nation loses an Egregore on the field or some other way, is there a detriment to the nation?
Everyone's upset. Everyone's upset, and then you get it depends if they're killed on the Friday, and then probably on the Saturday or the Sunday you'll get another player who will then take over as Egregore. So they just replace them because the person dies, the spirit lives on. So yeah, but it makes people angry, and that roleplay is good. Oh, Matt will have to remind me on this one, because there was a nation that lost all of their Egregores in one fight.
Whoa.
I have a horrible feeling it was Brass Coast, and I think they lost both of their Egregores in one fight, and that wasn't good. How do they select who becomes Egregore? They look at the experienced players. I'm pretty sure it was Brass Coast. They look at the experienced players, people in NPC crew. We lost ours when we only had one. Ooh, I bet that was a hell of a night though for the Orcs when that happened. So you get that sort of one of the Dornish Egregores has been great in helping me and my group. They are brilliant. Yeah, they are absolutely. Yeah, the Egregores are great. They are fantastic to reach out to for any sort of help. It's crew. The games team choose them. There is no application process. No. So yeah, so it's people who have played. You generally find it's people who have played the game for a while and have then moved off into other areas, and then they do them. A friend of mine, she was a player in the Navarre, and she is now. I think she's a High Guard Egregore. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was awful. The host was a veteran of the rebellion. They'd survived the war and got killed in a little battle. That's always the way of it. Always the way of it. My friend Justin, he went through 3 characters in one event. So that was hilarious. Wow, yeah, it was quite fun. But yeah. So, Abby, any other questions?
I think another thing was how do you make your money in game? Because what if you run out? How do you create more
Off your
if
bankrupt.
yeah, what if you go bankrupt? Like I
Oh,
guess you could be a trader and trade things, but other than that, I'm not sure how.
you don't go bankrupt. Yeah, you don't go bankrupt. So don't get too attached to your character then. Oh yeah, get attached to your character. I've played Mac for 6 years, I think, give or take. I'll have to have a look to see how long I've played him.
Excellent.
And I am incredibly attached to Mac, as you can probably tell when I talk
Yeah.
about him. So I'm very attached to Mac, and as me and Chris said, that when one of our characters dies, the other character is probably going to die as well. That's how attached we have become to as our little pair. So I think when you've run out of money, uh, yeah, find a sugar daddy. I've got two. So they are great. Trading is fantastic.
Yeah.
It could really break someone to lose an old character. Then, yeah, yep, people do get very upset. So I know one person who lost a character who they had played for 5 years, and they didn't come back for the next event. Samir is following. Thank you very much for the follow, mate. Um, so yeah, you do get attached, and then you do. If bad things happen and your character dies, then you are very much just done. Oh, Dan.
Awesome.
Okay, so you've gifted 3 subs, and this step foul and revelry in the revelry in the dark. There we go. I didn't see that bit down the bottom there. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. So at the moment we have got 3 contenders for the free place in the raffle. So
Hey.
No.
so that's awesome. So we'll come to that in a little bit. But I forgot. Yeah. So yeah, character death. Yeah, you do get involved. You do get really upsetting, and people will take a break away from the game sometimes if they do. Welcome to the sub club. Oh, Dan, you're a legend, mate.
Subway. Meatball, marinara, Subway. Oh.
I'm scared to lose my character. Year 3 on first character. If I die, I'm probably just going to sit in my tent for the rest of the event. You won't. You'll make a new character and you'll sit there and you'll talk to people. When my first character died and I came up with Mac, it was a throwaway character and I just sat there, drank a lot,
Yeah.
and that was me done. And I didn't come back for an event.
I suppose is it frowned upon to die, and then come back as a carbon copy of the same person?
Doing that.
If Mac dies, I'm not going to come back as Zach. Let's put it that way.
Come back as Grim.
Ooh, oh, that would be hilarious. I'll tell him that.
Swap roles.
It's a bit of a try to make something different, but not if you're a new player. So I think Smith lost his character on his first event, and he then just made the same character but with a different name. So so it does happen. I think age is age is definitely a consideration. But we're going to go back to the money bit. If you lose, Russie, thank you so much for the follow. If you've lost all your money, find someone who has money and see if there's anything you can do for them.
Please, can I have some?
There's that too. I won't say which tent, but I have walked into someone's tent while waiting for them, as Dan said, steal, just don't get caught. And I have sat in their tent waiting for them, and after 5 minutes they weren't there. There was like 2.5 thrones on the table. I picked it up, put it in my pocket, and left. So I will say that if a tent is zipped up, you're not allowed in. You are not allowed in. If something is closed or something is locked, you cannot break it.
Okay.
As well. If you're in someone's tent and you see their OC bag sort of poking out, you are not allowed in it, because if you go in it, that's theft, and the police get called.
Okay.
So it's things like that. So if you see someone's left a throne on the table and there's no one there, pick it up, put it in your pocket, and walk away. Because I've done that a fair bit. There's a group in Wintermark of young lads who I get on really well with. I like to fight with them. I have duels with them a lot. I've beaten them all up a considerable amount because they are always up for a laugh. They are always up for a bit of a scrap. They have come up to me on Saturday afternoon, like 5ish, and gone, "Have you got anything we can do to make a bit of money?" And I was just like, "What? Why?" And they said, "We've run out of alcohol. We want to go and buy some." And it's just like, "And you've run out of money as well." Okay, excellent stuff. So I will send them up to my family in the Navarre with a bit of cash, and I'll see if there's any 2 feet cider left, and we'll buy it. And they've made a bit of money, and they've got a bit of alcohol. So I will always encourage new players, or actively encourage new players. So if they're struggling, they're stuck, I will always help, and I won't be a dick to them. So if Pete came up to me and said, "Completely run out of money, we haven't got anything, we can't do this, and we really need this, can you help?" I will help, because I just want to help, because it's going to help someone enjoy their game. So it's really, really good fun to do. But yeah, so you're never really going to run out of money. So because there are things called prosperity bars as well, and they don't always take money.
Oh yeah, they take
They can take a story,
a story,
song,
yeah,
a poem, bit of information, and that as well. So yeah.
Okay.
So there's lots of stuff like that. So it's all very, very good.
Sounds like a Brass Coast thing.
Yeah, I mean, the prosperity is a fantastic thing, and that was the mistake that I think when it came to the Brass Coast, there was a lot of issues with. This was all taken in the wrong way. So everything in the Brass Coast, they all thought it was about money. So a friend went into the Brass Coast tent where it was all, well, you need to pay us this much for this, and this much for this, and they said, if you want to sit in our tent, it's a crown for the chair. So he went and sat down on the chair. He had his meeting with them. He had his drink, and then he got up, folded up the chair, and walked away with it. And he literally walked all the way back to our fire, put it down, opened it up, and sat down, with like 6 of them following him, saying, "That's our chair. You've stolen our chair." It's like, no, you sold it to me for a crown. They bought it back off of him for a throne.
Yeah.
Well,
It was great.
good business.
Prosperity.
Exactly. So he did really, really well. So there's a lot of stuff like that, but it's all down to how the way you want to do it. So there are a lot of people who will be, I need, can I help you do this? You go, I need a bit of money. Do you need anything done? There will be people who go, oh yeah, if I give you a couple of crowns, could you go off and tell this person I'm looking for them? And all that means is you just have to walk to another nation, find someone who knows that person, pass on a message, and then you're done. Really, really easy. Go off and do that. It's great. It says, charge for everything. Your time and skills should not be free, even if it's just a ring. Everyone in Anvil is an important person whose time is just as important, as we only get 27 hours in each game event. So, yeah, that is...
So including sleep, 27 hours.
Yeah, so that's, yeah. So it's, charge for as much as you can. Really charge for as much as you can. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing the messenger service, then that would be great. I mean, Pete, I'm sure that when people smell your food, people will come along and ask them what it is, and you will probably be able to sell, well, not even probably, you will 100% be able, you will definitely be able to sell them a bowl. So,
yeah, we do far too much food.
Yeah.
Pricing, so pricing is an interesting one, because it's the quality of how it goes for as well. You've got the Sea Wolves in the league who make their homebrew is incredible. It is so good. They sell a bottle of port for a throne, which is a lot. they will then sell a bottle of cider for £4 and stuff like that. But then they make the cheaper stuff as well. So whereas the 2 Feet, who make the 2 Feet cider, they turn up with anywhere between 300 to 500 bottles of the stuff. They'll sell it for one to £2 a bottle, and they sell it load of it to the bar as well, to the Nabar and stuff like that. It's generally sold before the event has started.
Wow.
So
Popular stuff.
so yeah, so how much you can sell stuff for it varies a lot. So but it's all supply and demand. If people really want it, they'll pay for it. So I had a bottle of 2 Feet cider left. Well, I say a bottle left. I had 8 bottles left. I like to bring a couple of bottles home with me to make it last like a week after. So I had a bottle left, and it was out by my chair, and someone offered me £2 for it. I asked for 2 thrones for it, and I sold it for a throne.
Oh.
Because on the Saturday, people are desperate for alcohol. So, because the Friday night, well, if they've been there on the Thursday night, so the Thursday night, Friday night, all that stuff's gone. So I have come back. Helen will vouch for it, but I have come back from Empire, and I've had like a couple of cases of cider. Also, be careful with your homebrew. You don't want to be carted off by the paramedics. So if you are drinking someone's homebrew, leave that bit at the bottom, the sediment. Do not drink it. Okay, it's bad. It will just make you ill.
How many socks? Oh.
Yeah, it will make you ill. So it's just a case of be sensible. Also, be careful with how much you drink, because if you can't handle it, you don't want to be the person who everyone has talked about on the Saturday night to say, I had to carry this person back to their tent. They puked over me. I had to carry them to the toilet. It was a horrible mess. Mark Humes. So, but he doesn't drink anywhere near as much anymore. So I mean, he's learned from it. But yeah, you don't want to Mark Humes. So you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person who everyone has to look after for the evening. So if you ever meet Justin in the field, ask him about Chundercat as well, because that's a thing. That's Chundercat. Yeah, that's the thing too.
It's like a really bad rip-off of Thundercats.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that.
So it's stuff like that. I'm looking at your guys, Pete. The youngins can't hold their drink.
They can. They get very, very drunk and messy very quickly. They're always on the field the next day, but
yeah, I mean, I don't get hangovers, so I'm quite lucky. Wilco's does excellent brewing supplies. I do need to. I would consider start learning to brew myself, but I think I'd probably end up killing half the field.
It takes a long time, doesn't it? Like
have a bottle of Max Hammer.
Ooh,
That's a good idea.
that's a good name as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I'll look at doing that. Oh no, I'm not allowed. So yeah, that's Helen just saying I'm not allowed. So yeah, if someone else wants to brew Max Hammer, let me know. Oh dear. They wander off and get lost. Yeah, so you don't want to be that person that everyone has to look after either and make sure they get home. I've picked people out of ditches before. It just gets everyone down. And you generally find that you've contributed to ruining someone's evening if that's the case. So it won't be a little try. I'll come back home to an industrial brewery. True
The whole
story.
living room is just a brewery now.
Yeah, well, there's 3 of us in a 2-bed flat, so it's not massive. So and I'm like on the top floor as well, so I don't really have like, anywhere to put it, to be honest. So she is probably right. No, don't steal like that from players, Lord Douglas. That's the following day, yeah, if you've helped someone, following day, because they will come and find you and say thanks and apologise, then charge them. That's the best thing to do. Don't go through pockets and stuff. So Pete, have you got any questions?
Asked about heresy and skirmishes and doodads.
Go for one more.
Content.
Off the top
I'm
of the
trying
head
to
one.
think. I had a few disappeared from them. So I've got my probably about how things work on the field battle wise. So we're coming to the event with 5 of us to start off with as our family. We'll probably all take the field because we will fight many of them anyway. How do the units work on the field on the battlefield? So will you be like your little knots, your group? Do you form blocks, lines? Do you have someone
Yes.
shouting at you what to do? And all of it. Yeah.
All of the
Yes.
things.
You fight how you want to fight. If you've got a group of 5 of you and you want to fight in a specific way, then you fight in that way. Wintermark have grown to fight in a line. They try to form a shield wall. Badly. They
Like
don't.
Shield Wall, Douglas.
They don't do very well at all. Yeah, they are not great. So it's literally just a case of you form a unit and you can fight however you want to fight. I have my own unit of line break of line. Basically I've made a line breaker unit. I love to run into stuff and I love to make it dangerous and I love to hit things as hard as I can and generally punch through. Because for me they're the stories that I enjoy telling. If I can come out of a battle and go, oh, did you see that right flank that all of a sudden like 20 people went running through the middle of, ran behind an enemy line and then punched back through somewhere else? It's like, yeah, that's what I love to do. So I form that unit. If there are people who say, like in the marches, I want to form a bill block, they'll go and form a bill block, and they have formed a bill block, and it is very successful. In Dawn, you'll get a group of, I think there's like 20 knights who form a shield wall themselves, and they do it very successfully with just with sword and board, and it's really, really good. So you fight how you want to fight. My big thing for me is I'm on holiday. I've paid to be here, and if a general comes up to me and screams in my face, then yeah, I'll enjoy it. But if he's telling me to go off and join a shield wall, I'm not going to do it because I want to do. That's not what I'm going to enjoy, and I'll have that argument with him, and then I'll go off and do my own thing anyway. And then if he says he wants to get me inquisited for something, then it'll be okay. That's fine. His character probably won't leave his tent one evening, and that'll be a good laugh. So I will say, get your own thing together. Brass Coast, they fight because they're not a huge. Oh no, they have grown quite a lot. So they're probably at that point now where they get nations joining together. I mean, they are primarily they're primarily a skirmishing nation anyway. So they don't you won't really see them wearing like plate and stuff like that anyway. So it'll be there's a lot of leather and things like that, nice big shields and stuff. So Brass Coast particularly fight skirmishers. So you can be a bit more fast and loose with fighting, hole plugging or valuable target takedown. There are a few people in that field who get a little group together and they will see an enemy general, someone with a big flag or a drummer or something like that, 20 feet behind enemy lines, and they'll go, yeah, I'll have you. And they will follow that person around the entire battle until they have killed them. I'm not fast. I'm built like a dwarf. I'm good over short distances. So I from the look of you, I get we're in the same sort of mould.
Very low centre of gravity.
Very much so.
From Lord of the Rings.
So we're very much that sort of mould, which is no, Pete is built like a dwarf. Yeah. So you literally just You fight in the way that you want to fight
Mm.
at the end of it. So if you know what you're comfortable doing and what you enjoy doing, then do it. If you want to fight on, if you want to go, no, I need to go over here, fight on my own, and I'm gonna punch. I want to hit that person there. Yeah, just go and do it. All I would say is that if you've got a line and you are that one, like that counterpoint there, don't just walk away because that entire line will fall. If all of a sudden there's a gap there, there's a large gap there, it's
Unless it's high guard, then that's okay.
yeah. If it's high guard, yeah, you can generally just like leave them alone. I do a lot. Um, I have been asked to take my unit to go and support high guard, and I, in no uncertain terms, told my general where to go. So, and I've walked in the other direction. I've told him to find someone else. So, yeah. So I mean, it's all good. It's all that sort of fun stuff. It's not a game of Where's Wally. It's a game of Where's Andy Connell. Andy Connell, he always plays the Orc General. He's like the head of Monster. He does a lot of stuff like that, and it's like the goal of a lot of people who want to get involved, who would want to do the fighting, to find Andy Connell. You can't miss him. He's like 6'4". He's got a nice big bushy beard. You can't miss him. He's a big lad. The goal is you see him, you want to go and fight him, and you'll generally find wherever Andy Connell is, my unit are generally like 50 feet eyeing down his line. And then as soon as that line is moved or is looking a little bit weak, I will go running face first into it and obliterate it just so I can get to Andy Connell and beat the shit out of him. So
How hard
it's
can we run into people?
not massively hard if they've got a shield up. So if you've got two people here, I will aim for the middle because their shields are generally going to be like that. So I will aim for the middle point because then they'll go like that. So I'm not actually going to run into people themselves. I have done it before by accident, and I will generally get through, and the refs will come over and go, "Can you calm it down a bit?" And it's just like, yeah, fine. And then you go off and you do things. Yeah, you can't with your shields smash into other people and stuff like that. It's just like you little bit of pushing. Yeah, so it's a little bit of things like that. There is a new player skirmish that they do every event.
Okay.
Definitely run into that and get involved because that's great fun to do. I've monstered for it once, and I had the shit kicked out of me by a group of kids. It was awesome. They are the most aggressive people on that field. So a group of 16-year-old kids beating the crap out of people. It's amazing. It's so much fun. So, yeah, so it's all about what you want to do, really, at the end of the day, mate. So you want to, you know what you want to do. You know what you're going to enjoy. Go and do it. That's really it. So, yeah, you need to lose our reenactment habits, as that's very physical. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to pull your blows to an extent. The weapons can hurt. A pod shot really does hurt. Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, when you get shot in the bollocks with an arrow, they're so bad. It really does hurt. It happened. I was running towards a line, and I got hit in the balls, and I went down. And the ref came over, and was like, "Are you all right?" And they got me back up, and I ran towards the same group, and they did it twice. It happened 3 times, and it got to the point where the ref was just like, "Look, just leave him alone. Just go over there now." And it was great. How lethal is the new player skirmish? It's literally you as your character going up against the monster crew and having a fight. It's so you learn what happens with calls, how to pull your blows. I was the one going for him. Yes, because you're a bit of a shit, Sam. And things. So it's it's very much like that. So yeah, it's just the difficult thing for you for you lot to do will be it's the stabbing.
Yeah.
Definitely don't stab. So it depends what you want to fight with. So I know there are a couple of other reenactors there who, because of the stabbing, they changed weapons. So they basically just went, I'm not going to use a sword at all. So they literally just went, okay, I'm going to use an axe instead now because I don't want to stab someone. So if I'm actually coming down and clubbing people, I'm not going to try to stab them with an axe at the end of the day. So it's just about getting used to it. All I'd say is that when you've got your weapons, just have a practice.
Yeah.
And that's so. I mean, there are a fair few. I mean, Empire players have set up a lot of practice sites over the country, so it might be worth. I think there is a group where you'd probably be able to turn up and have a go, and just
Without dying.
yeah, you're not gonna if your character is knocked down and technically dead in the new player skirmish, you aren't going to die.
Okay, that's good.
So I stab with a glaive in reenactment, so I've gone totally different mage armor, rod and spell, so I can't forget. Yeah, yeah, it's a sensible thing to do. But I think once you're there in field and you're doing it all, you'll soon. It's quite easy to step away from all of that. So, um, yeah. So, right, we've been going hour and 55. So obviously I like to go for an hour.
We doubled that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever stuck to an hour yet, so we're doing really, really well. Oh, my chat just jumped right down. So, I need to pick. So, we have 3 people who subbed today: Nest Step, Foul, and Revelry in the Dark. We have someone from those 3 who are going to win free entry for 1 ticket into the raffle.
Ooh.
Do you want to have a little confer amongst yourselves about who you think should get it?
Yeah, how should we do it?
That's up to you. You two decide, and I'll talk. I will talk to everybody else. So I think so on Thursday we're actually going to do the raffle, and it will be me. Got Alex Smith coming on, so we're just going to do that, and we'll go through. If I haven't sold all the tickets, I haven't sold all the tickets, and it will literally be picking the numbers out, and then if you win, congratulations, you've won. There are potentially 20 prizes, or
It's a lot of good ones as well.
some of them are very, very good
Yeah.
ones. There are some amazing bits of jewellery in there. Unfortunately, I'm not entered into this, and there were some very Calavesi things in that I wanted to keep. So, so thank you, Jasmine, for that. They are incredible, very, very incredible prizes. There's like a £75 voucher for Darkblade in there. Pete has very kindly offered a commission for a dagger, which I wanted as well. So there's some very, very talented people out in that field. So I would definitely say take full advantage and go for them. Yeah. The Orcs had a big raffle and they got some prizes together themselves, and they've offered it. So there's a box and there's quite a few pouches in there, and stuff like that as well. So there's some incredible stuff. There really is, and all the money from this will be going towards funding more stuff to help more new players.
We
And
love
that-
stuff.
There'll be a lot of stuff. More. More.
Mwah.
So yeah, the dagger has been one that's a lot of people have shown a lot of interest in. So there is commission for some artwork as well. There's a few knitted flowers, knitted roses in there. So they'll be good for Dawn and League and stuff. A brass coast as well, to be honest. So there's some really good bits there. There's loads of stuff. I can't remember it all.
There's a cloak.
Oh yeah. Ginny's given it a cloak as well. Yeah. Hey Abby, Team Navarre. Yeah. Jazz is going to do an inscription and glow powders in the dagger as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I make them the shape of them, and she is very good at the detailing and the prettiness.
So
her wand glows. It's so
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
There was a picture somewhere of someone with a glowing claymore. It was absolutely incredible to see. So, right. So I scroll all the way back down. Ooh. So, okay. So, who has won?
Okay, we did a little couple of things and a couple of flipping of the
flipped
coins.
the coin between
Excellent.
Everyone.
Take down the two and we flipped the coin.
Yep. So
We actually flipped the rune.
the
Actually,
rune. We flipped the rune of secrets.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can read that. That's okay.
Which it sounds really suspect now.
Yeah.
Because I've just gone, hey, Abby, Team Navarre.
Yeah.
But Nest Step is the
Nest
one that
Step.
came up
The
the
one-
coin flip.
It's the one here is the one.
Excellent.
Yeah. Congratulations.
6.
No, we swear. You can watch the stream, but we were 100% writing all the stuff, flipping
That's
the coin.
awesome.
You can
That's
see
awesome.
Flipped the rune and it came up.
Okay.
Right.
Right. PM me in Discord. Message me in Discord. Okay, with the have a look at the post in the Empire group and tell me the number that you want, and then it will go in there. But obviously, the main prize that everybody wants to win from the raffle is the Hefty Yeti t-shirts, because you know who doesn't want one of these.
Exactly.
So I'll get all that sorted out, and then on Thursday we'll do the raffle as well. So yes, you have got one of the. See, you won one of these in the competition as well. So they are very sexy, very sexy. So yeah, and Steve's Undying Love. Yes, yeah. It was very much a gamble getting these, but it's been good, and I do love them to the point of
They're
where
great.
they are really nice.
I love the Yeti. He's so funny.
Yeah,
He's just like.
he's the grumpiest shit in the world. He really is, but I do love it. So, shall I say autographs from the one and only Sparrow? Who? Who, Sam? I don't know who Sparrow is. Never heard of him before, mate. Sorry. But yeah, me and Sam are doing doing. I kill you. Me and Sam are doing the MasterChef thing as well, which we're
Yes.
gonna do, which is going to be a good laugh. I will have a chat with Chris as well about seeing if we can do another MasterChef thing as well for Mac and Grim. Do something together, so that would be a laugh. Oh, the Lord Douglas subscribed with Prime. You are a legend, mate. Thank you so much for doing that. I will say to everybody who's been new, everything that I get for doing this channel, I keep 0. Nothing, zip, nada. To the point of I have actually thrown my own money into getting these t-shirts and stuff like that, and just to give back, because I want to help as many new players as I can. And thankfully we've got a wonderful community of everybody who wants to help new players and get everybody involved and everybody to help everyone. It's fantastic. So yeah, so thank you so much for everyone who's donated, turned up, helped and stuff like that. There's all my links. Follow, subscribe, whatever you want. It's great. I appreciate any help, because I don't expect help, but when I get it, I love it. I think if anyone remembered the stream from a few weeks ago where we suddenly hit the hype train, I nearly cried at the end of that stream. That was amazing. I was so happy. It was awesome to see. So if everyone joins me in a thank you to Abi and Pete and the Beard.
Thanks for having us.
It's been absolutely fantastic. A few people have said that once we've done the first event, we should do follow-ups with everybody as well. So I think after everyone's been to their first event, we'll do a follow-up and we'll get everyone on, so we can all just go, how was it? And why aren't you coming back? And stuff. So there's lots of stuff like that.
Who died?
Exactly. So yeah, so everyone spread the word, tell them what's going on, get them involved, spread the links, see if we can grow, get more people involved and everything like that. So yes, I'll creep in the pit with them in my full kit. Yes. In the Discord, photos of your kit. We love it. We love to talk about it all. It's really good. So much hype for E1.
Kind of.
Yes, Abby's kind of kit is over her left shoulder.
I have 3 different outfits, one for each day. That's one of them.
I have like 3 pairs of pants.
That's pretty much where I am as well. It's like I have one top that I wear for the whole thing. Because I have more, but I just don't bother changing. So really do smell like I've lived in a swamp. It's great.
Do it the Mongol way. Yes. Let the clothes rot off of you.
It's like
Exactly.
Shrek with a swamp.
Or it could be like the way Trot does things, where he left all of his damp kit in a box.
Oh.
Yeah, the mold. It was bad. He turned up into the field and he opened up that box and smoke. It's horrible. It's great.
Authentic.
It was so funny. It was so funny. I only have one kit. I probably need a spare. Yep, I would. So I see two. Huh. I see how deer die in rutting season. Excellent. Thanks, son. I don't understand.
On that note.
On that note, so yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for talking and asking questions about the events and stuff like that, and it's been really, really good. Whoever wins the dagger, the wonderful. Thanks for making that weird, Steve. Thanks. Oh, sorry, hon. Yeah, beats me. Yeah, so we'll get this all done. So whoever wins the dagger, the delightful Pete is going to be making it and everything. So, well, I think he makes it. I think he just stands there and the beard actually does all the work.
Yeah, I actually lost some
He did.
making a sword.
He has a hole underneath
Got
his
caught in the
beard.
sound enrichment. Yeah.
I tried to trim. I trimmed my beard about 6 weeks ago, and I've now lost like 5. I had to lose 5 inches of it.
Oh,
It's horrible. Yeah, I was
not the beard.
I was quite upset, but still. Right, that's it. We're all done. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks, Abby. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
And we'll, things and stuff. We'll see you all soon.
Thanks.
See you on Thursday. Go to the
Raffle.
raffle. Do the raffle thing. We'll do the raffle thing, and then we'll get more stuff going for everybody. Thank you, everyone. Everyone, take care. You stay safe.
Bye.
We'll speak to you soon.